Am I the a-hole for telling my family they are never going to be part of me or my son's life? In 2020, I, 30, did something horrible to my family. I stole from them to fund my addiction. I stole some electronics, including old cell phones, a game console, and a Blu-ray player, to buy heroin. I cannot and will not justify these actions. I fully accept them as my own, along with their consequences. I was caught, and my family became aware of my addiction. It was painful to see my parents realize what was happening, but the hardest part was seeing how heartbroken my 17-year-old little sister was. They dropped me off at a rehab center, where I spent 3 months detoxing and getting sober. I did not hear from them the entire time I was in there. I tried calling to let them know how I was doing, but I never received an answer. The day I got out, I went back home. My family informed me that they would no longer consider me a member of the family and that I was to leave the home and not contact any of them for any reason. I attempted to stay with other relatives, but when I contacted my grandparents, I was told that my parents had called them, and several others, to tell them that if they kept any contact with me, my parents would cut them off as well. I was able to see how my sister was doing through my mother's Facebook posts, but after liking one of them, I received a message telling me that I was allowed to look at the posts, but that all other family members would be blocking me, and I was not to interact with anything my mother posted. I was completely destroyed and ended up on the streets. I stayed in a homeless shelter and got a menial job, just enough for a rundown apartment, and slowly began putting my life back together. I went through therapy to process the extreme grief. I focused on work and attended online school to finish the degree I had abandoned at 21. I eventually secured a very good position several states away and moved there as soon as I could. 3 years ago, I met the woman who is now my wife. Her father had gone through a similar struggle with addiction, and her family welcomed me with open arms. Last year we got married, and 3 months ago, we welcomed our son into the world. Of course, being a proud new dad, I posted pictures of him all over social media. Since then, I've been inundated with calls and messages saying that my parents want to meet my son. I have no plans to allow that. My family abandoned me at my lowest point and actively worked to cut me off from any familial support. I am not owed forgiveness for my actions, but I also cannot pretend that what they did was anything less than complete disownment. I told them, admittedly not very politely, that I do not consider them my real family and that they are to come nowhere near me, my wife, our son, or anyone connected to us. I have been receiving daily messages saying that I never earned their love back and that I am cheating them out of having a son again, and therefore I owe this to them. I am not giving in, nor do I ever plan to. Edit. There have been many responses with a wide spectrum of opinions. I may not have replied to them all, but I did read them. For now, I am stepping back. My wife and I have decided that we will speak with my parents via video call to discuss the past 5 years, understand where everyone stands today, and decide how to move forward. I will take everything I've read into consideration in preparing for that conversation. A lot of people have asked for updates. I will post one when the dust is settled. Thank you for your kindness, and otherwise. All of it is appreciated. Final update. A while back, I posted a thread on this subreddit. I want to thank everyone for their words, both kind and unkind. Looking back, I don't think I expressed myself or the situation very well, and it was interpreted in many different ways. I initially wanted to address that, but honestly, I'm ready to leave all of this behind. The only thing I'll clarify, because it came up repeatedly, is that my family did not pay for my stay in rehab. I was earning less than $20,000 per year, and my employer only offered an HSA, so I qualified for Medicaid. Medicaid paid for my inpatient rehab. For the sake of brevity, here is some relevant context and a summary of what my father expressed during our conversation. My father came from China to the US for college. He fell in love with the country. My father hates China and communism. He saw America as a place where he could thrive in ways he couldn't back home. He married an American woman, stayed here, and started his own business. My father's dream was to pass his business down to me, then to my son, and so on. He was a strict tiger parent, and my mother, being very submissive, followed his lead. From a young age, I was told exactly what my future would be, down to the university I would attend and my major. This is important context for my father's mindset. The call was just me, my wife, and my father. It was long and awkward. Here is the gist. My father views my bisexuality and my decision not to finish college as acts of ungratefulness. He believes I was not thankful enough for how he raised me. My bisexuality still allowed the possibility of marrying a woman and having children, so he let that go. Dropping out of college frustrated him, but he accepted that he could still train me to manage the business even if I needed others for the physical labor. However, what broke the camel's back was not the stealing. He says that was minor compared to the real issue. What ruined everything, in his view, was that I used drugs at all. Once I used drugs, he believed I could never be trusted with his legacy. Because of that, he felt it was necessary to cut me out completely to avoid the shame of having an addict in the family. He said this is how he felt then and that his feelings have not changed and never will, no matter how clean I stay or how successful I become, because I ruined his dream. Despite this, he believes I owe him gratitude for leaving the family vacant of a son to pass his legacy down to. Now that I have a son, he sees potential for his legacy to go through my child. Because I once used drugs, he believes he and my mother must step in to ensure my son is properly raised into the role I failed to fill. I did not get to speak to my mother. The call ended abruptly when my wife realized it was going nowhere. I was in a dark place for the rest of the weekend. I cannot express how thankful I am for my wife and how she helped me stay grounded. I plan to spend the rest of my life being the same rock for her that she has been for me. Right now, that mostly means taking on all housework and caring for the baby while she recovers. As our son grows up, I'll keep finding ways to show her how much I appreciate her. Here is what we've decided: I'm going to work less. I'm a technical writer, good at it, and it pays well enough that even on reduced hours, we can live comfortably. When I met my wife, work was my coping mechanism. Marco Pierre White said that work is the best painkiller mankind ever invented, and for a time, he was right. But that's not healthy now that I have a child. I'll be using my extra time to attend an additional weekly therapy session and work on healthier coping mechanisms. As for our son, we have decided that my parents will not be part of his life for the foreseeable future. We aren't sure what we'll tell him, but as he grows, we'll speak with a counselor who specializes in child psychology to determine how to approach the topic without distressing or confusing him. Many people suggested taking my wife's last name. We considered it, but ultimately we decided to choose a completely new family name, a fresh start for a new legacy. We hope to finalize it by the end of the year. Honestly, that's about it. I know this update will get a wide range of responses, but I won't be reading or responding. I know the man I've become. I know I am a capable father and a loving husband. I know I have a disease that makes trust difficult to earn, and I know that despite my past, I will continue to be the best man I can be for my family. I don't need strangers on Reddit to praise or condemn me to know that's true. I'm logging out of this account after posting this and won't be logging back in. Thanks for reading.